Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to bring you the news again from Europe, and it doesn't look that great actually. Beyond what we can imagine, Europe's coming energy crunch. With the war in Iran threatening to choke off energy flows for the foreseeable future, Europe is facing a supply shock that promises to cripple manufacturing, ground airlines, hike up the price of food, spike borrowing costs, and send inflation spiraling back to crisis levels. If the war drags on, it will place a burden on the European economy as heavy as we recently experienced during the COVID pandemic or at the start of the Ukraine war. This conflict could last years, says Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, and warned in a recent interview that long-term effects are probably beyond what we can imagine at the moment. With almost all global suppliers at maximum capacity, European leaders are beginning to realize that the LNG supplies that they were counting on are not coming here as expected. It's not like we have a buffer, it's not like we have some security here. Europe will start to feel the pain this coming month, or possibly even in a few weeks. Why energy prices, oil and gas could still stay high in Europe even if the war in Iran ends. Europe may not yet breathe a sigh of relief due to long-lasting impact on energy supplies on which the bloc heavily relies. Even if peace is made tomorrow, still we will not go back to normal in the foreseeable future. Rising gas prices impact British and European energy bills via both the direct cost of gas and the increased cost to generate electricity through gas-fired power plants. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that actually about 30% of electricity in Germany, I believe, or in Austria, is coming from gas-fired power plants. So if the natural gas price is going up, the electricity price is going up as well. Europe begins energy rationing as the crisis moves into daily life. The European Union has begun urging citizens to work from home, drive less, reduce speed limits, and cut overall energy consumption as part of an emergency response to the shock created in the Iran war. The language coming out of officials make it clear that this is not just temporary. European authorities are warning of a very serious situation with no immediate end in sight. Yeah, some people would also call it an energy lockdown. This will not resolve quickly. Officials are already warning that the shock will be long-lasting, and that suggests the current measures are just the first step. Oh my god, this sounds familiar, right? If the disruption to global energy flows continues, these temporary adjustments will evolve into a more formalized restrictions. And what is now being presented as voluntary guidance will become mandatory policy, aka an energy lockdown. If you want to support my channel, it would be really awesome if you would purchase a knife by the company Oldenwolf. Oldenwolf makes some really awesome high quality knives for a very good price. And this one here, for example, is a small camp knife, which is called the Oldenwolf W Scandi. It's a really awesome small bushcraft blade, which you can have either for going out into the forest, or I keep mine here in the car just as a backup. So really awesome blade, very affordable, and with my discount code Lilly10 you will get a 10% discount. So if you want to support my channel, you will find my affiliate links in the description below. Also here I found a energy crisis policy response tracker. Interesting article. It describes how many countries are reacting to the crisis. For example, Australia is encouraging its citizens to voluntarily reduce their fuel use. Argentina is allowing higher bioethanol content in gasoline blend. Egypt is asking the public to save fuel, limit commercial and public lighting, close shops from 9 to 10 p.m. on weekends. The Slovak Republic is capping fuel prices. Slovenia is capping fuel purchases per liter. Thailand is encouraging carpooling and limit unnecessary travel, increasing the biofuel blend also. Vietnam is encouraging remote work. Austria, my country, is capping the fuel retailer margins And also it's cutting gasoline and diesel taxes. Meloni is warning that we are one step away from the point of no return. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is saying that we are at the point of no return. She wants the restoration of free navigation in the region. We are only one step away from the point of no return, but now we face a fragile prospect of peace that must be pursued with determination. Italy condemns any violation of the ceasefire and demands a lasting end to hostilities. Also, Kiev is attacking a lot of Russian ports. Drone swarms against ports, ships and factories. Ukraine continues its attacks against Russian energy infrastructure. These attacks are not only costing Moscow a great deal of money, but are also likely to have repercussions on the front lines. Germany's debt mountains are growing to 2.66 trillion euros. Germany's public debt rose by 6% in 2025. At the federal level, the increase is primarily driven by special funds for the armed forces and infrastructure. Right, so for war they always have money. Oh my god. Experts now have a bleak forecast for motorists. Prices below 2 euros per liter here in Austria will be unrealistic. Even if the situation in the Middle East continues to calm down, the entire system must first find a new equilibrium. Purchase behavior has changed. The Iran war has further contributed to financial uncertainty in Europe. Recent studies have already revealed a significant shift in consumer behavior. Consumers are shopping more strategically to ensure they can afford essentials. The rising costs for energy, fertilizers, logistics directly impact European households as a result of the conflict. According to an analysis, this is forcing consumers to change behavior. Our prosperity is at stake on an unprecedented level. In Germany, inflation threatens to cause prices to skyrocket, while globally a potential food crisis could lead to a renewed increase in migration pressure. It is simply easier to start wars than to end them, which is why all diplomatic efforts are needed to end the conflicts in the Middle East. Still, economists are expecting almost €500 million more in tax revenues due to the high fuel prices in Germany. So the governments around Europe are making a whole lot of money now. The government collects 19% VAT on every liter sold. And this is not everything. There's also CO2 taxes and mineral oil taxes. So all in all, here in Austria, it's between 45 and 55%. So if you're filling up your car and let's say the invoice says 100 euros, then about half of it is taken by the government. Also, Saudi Arabia has an oil pipeline which is going from east to west, I believe. The attacks in the Middle East are crippling the petrochemical industry. Key production sites in several countries were hit simultaneously, with potential far-reaching consequences for the global supply of basic chemicals. Also, over 500 medications are missing in Germany. The situation at pharmacies is becoming critical. The supply of medicines is coming under increasing pressure. Even minor disruptions in supply chains have considerable consequences. Germany, our industry is bleeding out. Deindustrialization is accelerating. The German economics minister is warning that Germany is experiencing one of the most severe energy crises in its history. This is putting a strain on consumers and businesses and is costing Germany economic growth. The IEA chief economist is saying that we will feel the effects for many years to come. Europe in particular is threatened with an energy crisis. Also, Bangladesh is limiting the use of air conditioning. This country is getting really hot, so I don't think this is a good idea, especially in the night when you cannot sleep. So I think I'd rather live in a cold region where I can put on some clothing and put some firewood in the stove, right? Yeah, here it's saying South Asia is expecting a deadly heat wave and electricity for air conditioning is running low. India is expecting its highest electricity consumption in history due to the heat. Fearing blackouts, the government is ramping up coal-fired power plants and warning of an economic downturn. Alright guys, so this is the news today, and if you want to see more videos, then make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. Also, you want to check if you are still subscribed to my channel, because sometimes it happens that YouTube unsubscribes people without their knowledge and without their consent. So make sure that you're checking the subscription button. Stay tuned.